The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Monday morning, 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. And we got the last final day before Election Day, Tuesday. Get out there and vote if you haven't gotten out there and voted already. Going to be a historic turnout, it looks like. Early voting numbers, already 92 million people, Americans, voting in this election already. Tomorrow, of course, Election Day. We'll get into some of the states when they start counting those ballots in a little bit. But, man, it's all up in the air. The polls pointing to Biden. But that's the President Trump looking to defy the polls yet again from 2016 to 2020. No matter what, we're going to get a good feel of things. And hopefully we're going to find out who the winner is tomorrow night. It may take a day or two or even potentially longer. Worst case scenario beyond that. But the markets, we're trading higher this morning, folks. Above 3,300 in the S&Ps. Up 2 points right now. Up 37 points to 3302. 50. Pretty interesting when you look at the action we had last week, of course, right? The sell-off, whether it was, almost the entirety of the week. You started the week at almost 34.50. You ended the week close to 32.25. Just zooming in on the action we had on Friday, quite the acceleration in the final 30 to even really 15 minutes of the trading day, and it extended beyond 4 o'clock. We closed out at about 5 p.m. Eastern time at about 32.80 after trading at 32.25 going into 3 p.m. Eastern time. But you see the action coming into the opening bell. Right now, we got a high out there of 33.22. So we've given up 20 points almost already. But you see the acceleration beginning at around 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. Europe opening up. The market's trading higher. Over in Europe, we got markets higher. DAX up 1.7%. The FTSE up 1.2%. CAC Roll up almost a full 2%. Asia higher as well. Nikkei up 1.4%. Shanghai flat to marginally higher, and the HSI up 1.5% as well. NASDAQ up 93 points at 11,139. See the difference here, though. The NASDAQ, right? 11,140. The highs where we fell apart on Friday, you're talking about almost a full 100 points higher, as opposed to the S&Ps jumping back. We're well above where we were in the beginning of Friday. So a little bit of a divergence. The Dow above that level as well. Dow up almost 400 points at 26,792. Crude catching a little bit of a bid. Look at this volatility on crude last night. Crude traded from basically $40, we'll call it, within 17 pennies on Tuesday. You finish out the week at a price of about $35.71. You opened last night at $33.64, basically. And check that out, though. A little bit of a pop in the price of crude. Gold trading higher as well from $18.59 on Thursday. We're up right now $12 to $18.92. You have silver up more than 50 pennies at $24.18. And notes and bonds right now, a little bit of higher price, lower yield. The yield on the 10-year right at about 0.885%. So say it again, 0.85%. The yield on the 10-year, we're up 4 ticks at 138.10. The 30-year up 3 ticks, 172.18. And we'll check out the VIX this morning. Coming into the presidential election, looks like the VIX felt relatively comfortable just under the 40 level. Not really going to be cutting the price of premium going into the election tomorrow. You see the you see the spike. It could almost, you could almost say it was expected, right? We got the election coming up. You see this thing creeping, and it started creeping, October 12th. And really the run began basically last week on that acceleration. We saw it begin right on the 23rd to the 26th. You were trading, and this is where, of course you could have said, I'm going to buy the VIX the week before the election. Doesn't always happen. In this case, it did. It went from about 26 to a price point of about 37. We're sitting there this morning on the VIX. All right, what else we got going on? I mean, what a time of a news cycle, right? So jumping to coronavirus, COVID numbers spiking across the globe, spiking here in the U.S. We just had Halloween, right? We're coming into Thanksgiving. We're coming into Christmas. We're coming into winter. We're coming into cold temperatures, people being inside. We're coming into fatigue from this virus. So you have England. The virus lockdown may be extended beyond December. Tough deal going on over there in the U.K. Here's your U.K. curve, pulling up the time site. Quite the acceleration, right? You're talking about from basically on 800 cases a day to now spiking with a 7-day average of 22,000. And you see the death numbers, they were down to, single digits they were dealing with in a daily basis as recently as September, beginning of September. And you're talking about by the end of October, they're at 260. And really the worry there, care, hospitals, that's a big deal. Very hard to avoid restrictions being put in place as hospital numbers spike. We saw it in El Paso in the U.S. And hopefully we do something to address it because it's stark numbers in the U.S. And no matter what you think, they're going to be undeniable numbers. Hopefully this number stays down. My friends and I were discussing this morning, if death numbers stay down, care is definitely better, hopefully, and it shouldn't be a proportional increase any longer as care does increase in a dramatic fashion, as in the care that people are able to get, the death rate going down. But still, you look at it. I mean, we were just you're talking about, I think it was 697 on the 16th. Yeah, we were under 700 for the 7-day average in deaths, and we're now sitting at 825. That's an 18% increase in the daily deaths in the U.S. in 17 days. And that would correlate to the beginning of this spike in cases. So they always lag. They lag to the tune of 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, something in that degree. As this thing changes, it's a dynamic situation. But stark numbers, undeniable, and you're seeing it over in the UK. You're seeing it in France. You're seeing it potentially in Germany as they get overrun with the second/third wave of this virus. All right, what else we got going on? Jumping to, it's still earnings season, folks. It's a big week. I mean, we're going to get the presidential election Tuesday night. We're going to get weekly jobless claims, everything else, along with a plethora of earnings coming through this week. But it's all about the election right now, coming in tomorrow. But jumping through some of these equities, Clorox shares. Earnings per share, $3.22. The market was looking for basically $1 less at $2.32 a share. Revenue top forecast, Clorox. I mean, maker of bleach, right? Bleach is the best thing for killing some of this virus. Purchases of homebound consumers as well. Raised the full year guidance, 2.8% in pre-market trade in the ARX. CLX, Clorox. Now, that's a long-term chart. You see the high they had August 5th. No, excuse me, 239. But this morning, we're going to open back at about 212. So a little bit of a pop on their numbers, putting it on a 15-minute, 212 from about 205, 206 at the end of Friday trading. What else we got going on? Estee Lauder, they made $1.44 a share. Market was only looking for 90 cents. There have been some strong numbers coming out of a bunch of companies in the market, just selling them off. Estee Lauder's up 4%, but that's a monumental beat. They beat by about 50% in terms of above what they were supposed to make. Revenue above forecast, 10% dividend increase now, 53 cents. Estee Lauder, looks like they're trading up a few percent in the pre-market. That's a nice pop from 218 to 230. Last week we were as high as 233. Marathon Petroleum, they lost $1 a share, less than the market was looking for. So again, a beat. MPC, and a little bit of a beat. AMC out with their numbers. We'll pull that up when we come back. S&P's sitting right at 3,300 on the dot, folks. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps up 39 points right now, 33.03. We're about 20 points off the highs we made pre-market, though. All right, I'm going to jump around to some of the states. So what we have going on in terms of the swing states here. Decent write-up from CNBC talking about the states, the breakdowns, when they start counting ballots, etc. It's going to come down to, in terms of the states that we potentially wait for, it's going to come down to, I think, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin could be states where they only start counting ballots on election day. But to give you a quick breakdown, because this is what it's going to be about, you know, the swing states, the votes, how they're coming in, how the early votes are, how the mail-in votes are, and then how the turnout on election day is. Arizona, ballots were mailed starting October 7th. They're being processed upon receipt. Okay, so they start counting them when they get them. Florida, we're going to get some early numbers on Florida, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Ballots mailed starting September 24th. Able to start canvassing mail-in ballots, include tabulating weeks in advance. Florida, really, they come out, they got the numbers really quickly. Ballots are being accepted on before election day. Seems to be, that's the basic trend in here, but you're going to see the Florida numbers early. Anything can happen, but President Trump, he needs Florida in almost any scenario for him to win. So that could be one of the things. If that goes to Biden early, you could see an early night. Look for Florida. There's a couple other states early in the night that we're going to get that could be an indication. Georgia, ballots were mailed September 15th. The counting, ballots being tabulated at the close of the polls on Election Day and accepted until the polls close on Election Day at 7 p.m. Iowa, now here's Michigan. Talk about a big state, big swing state. Absentee ballots start being processed in some jurisdictions today, but a vast majority will not begin processing ballots until Election Day. Ballots will start being counted at 7 a.m. tomorrow, accepted until the end of Election Day, 8 p.m. tomorrow. So that one, they're going to start counting them basically tomorrow. And whether they can get through all of those ballots by the evening, if that state is a swing state that's up in the air, that's the question. Minnesota, processed upon receipt. I mean, this is what they probably should be doing, right? if they have the right process in place, and it seems like some states do, there's no reason why you have to wait until Election Day, but that's how it's set up in some states, as maybe they weren't aware of the massive, massive acceleration that you could get from those. Minnesota, processed upon receipt. Nevada, processed upon receipt. All right, New Hampshire, counted on Election Day, processing ballots on October 29th. So sometimes they don't do it the day they get them, but they give themselves, 3-4 day head start. They started processing North Carolina early, September 29th, Ohio on October 6th. Pennsylvania, here we go. Mail-in ballots can start being processed on Election Day at 7 a.m. So there's another one, right? Ballots can start being counted when the polls close at 8 p.m. on Election Day. So you got Pennsylvania's going to start counting them tomorrow, the day of. Texas, in counties with a population of 100,000 or more, they started processing October 22nd. Other counties, October 30th, so they look to be good. And then there's Wisconsin, which same deal. Officials begin some verification steps upon receipt, including checking ballots against voter lists, looking for any missed signatures, but envelopes cannot be opened for processing until Election Day, 7 a.m. What happens is they give you an envelope, you seal it, and then you sign it over the seal. I voted by mail myself in Florida this year. Pretty cool. You can actually pull it up, confirm that your vote has been counted, received, and counted. So I saw that, checked it. It's a decent way to do things. Excuse me. Okay. What else we got going on? So that's the breakdown, and that's what it's going to come down to. There's going to be some early states. They're going to be in the flux, but any of these swing states, especially the ones we went over, and again, that's going to be Wisconsin, that's going to be Pennsylvania, and that's going to be Michigan. One of the three of the biggest swing states out there that all basically start counting their ballots tomorrow. So if it comes down to any of those three states and it's close enough, that is the potential that we wake up on Wednesday morning not really knowing who the president will be for the next 4 years. Market's not going to like that scenario, folks. We do not want, as Americans, that scenario. Hopefully we have a clear winner. But that's the case, and these votes would, most of them, all right, now there's going to be endless legal battles. It's already shaping up in terms of, I had a couple headlines out here, wasn't even sure if I was going to jump over to them, but you have Republicans challenging drive-through voting in Texas, trying to eliminate 120,000 votes. They lost that in one of their bids. They still have a bid in federal court on that. You have a U.S. judge ordering the U.S. Postal Service to reinforce extraordinary measures, ballot delivery policy. I hope that would be the case anyway during an election period, but nonetheless, a judge ordering that it must occur. The order on Sunday, to which the U.S. Postal Service agreed, said they must reinforce its special procedures to ensure it delivers every ballot possible by the cutoff time on Election Day, and I hope that is the case. Every American should hope that's the case. But you're seeing it shake out, and you're going to see it shake out if it comes down to one of those three states. All right, jumping around to some of the FANG stocks out there. We had quite a week last week, of course. Thursday with all the, not all, but some of the biggest companies out there reporting, and you see the sell-off that we had on Friday. Amazon almost flirting with $3,000. We're up marginally this morning. You also had Apple out with their numbers. Apple down to 107 on Friday from almost 117 on Thursday. We're opening a bit higher, but look at these FANG stocks. I mean, barely 108.86, and you're up 20 pennies right now when the S&Ps are up a full percent, right? Amazon, same deal. You're up $13 in a $3,000 stock right now when the S&Ps are up 30. You had Facebook out with their numbers. Facebook actually negative right now after trading at 259.10 on their numbers. Google, the big winner on Thursday, trading up about $100, giving back some of those gains throughout the day Friday, though. Google a little bit higher right now at 16.31. Jumping around to some of the other stocks. Netflix shares up a bit from 475 to 480. And let's see what else we got going on in terms of stocks with action. We talked about AMC Networks. Quarterly earnings $1.32 a share, 4 cents above estimates. Revenue exceeded forecast. It expects to have 5 to 5 million paid video streaming subscribers by the end of the year. AMCX. I cannot imagine being a company, and you're trading up a bit. The bid ask is 22 by 22.50. I cannot imagine being a company that is so small trying to compete in the streaming arena when you have to compete with the library and the likes of Disney, Netflix, Amazon Prime, then you even get into second tier, which would be HBO. And a lot of great AMC programs. One of my favorite ever, maybe Breaking Bad, AMC. You got Mad Men out there, great series. So they got a lot of content. But, man, it's a tough competitive arena, but they're going to have maybe 5 to 5.1 million paid subscribers. Waste Management, they earned $1.09 a share for the last quarter, 7 cents above revenue top forecast. Pleased with the performance despite a challenging economic backdrop. Shares are marginally higher this morning for them. Waste Management is their symbol, and we've actually given it up. Well, you got a bid-ask spanning the close on Friday right now, so flat at 107.91 with this market a little bit higher. Nielsen Holdings selling its consumers data unit to private equity firm Advent International, $2.7 billion deal. Bank of America said nearly $10 billion of its consumer loan portfolio was in a deferral program as of October 1st. Just big numbers across the board. You got GM hiring Paul Jacobson, new CFO. They had been the CFO at Delta. Jumping through some of the others. JP Morgan, they're raising their stake in China Securities. And Under Armour getting an upgrade. There you see a little bit of a pop after having their numbers on Friday and selling off. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. We'll go over other companies with earnings on the Monday before Election Day. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P sitting right at 3,300 on the dot, up 35 points right now, 86 points positive on the NASDAQ. The Dow up 369, a solid 1.4%. Jumping back to some of the election fodder you got out there, Philadelphia. So Philadelphia officials saying today they'll easily take several days to count the city's large number of mail-in ballots, potentially delaying a city like Philadelphia, right? That's going to be crucial to the Pennsylvania vote count, delaying statewide election results from Pennsylvania. Especially interesting today, folks, both candidates, President Trump, Vice President Biden, both in Pennsylvania today, because it could decide the election. And you have Philadelphia, one of the biggest cities in that state, coming out. And we just covered that they're one of the states that they are going to start counting ballots tomorrow. They said more than 400,000 mail-in ballots have been received so far. The Commonwealth's most populous county, where 3/4 of registered voters are Democrats. And this is the worry. You're going to have quite a shift here that you might see when you see mail-in ballots, which are skewing towards Democratic. As they come in, they could shift numbers. We all know what the president said out there. We'll see what happens, folks. Either way, it's November 2nd, tomorrow, November 3rd, Election Day. Get out there and vote if you haven't already voted. Unless you're in a very high-risk scenario, be safe out there. The polls. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. It's probably just like going to the grocery store or something like that. There's going to be a lot of people there, though, but no reason you can't do it safely. And election, hey, all this talk, we're going to find out tomorrow. Tomorrow night should be an interesting day in the market as people get ready for what could be happening in terms of the potential for either way. The market, though, is pretty interesting. 6 p.m. last night, I was hitting that market saying, where are we opening? Where are we opening? This morning, opened my eyes at about 5:30. So where are we? Where are we? And the market, pretty calm for all things considered, everything going on. You got restrictions in Europe, cases spiking in the U.S., presidential election tomorrow, more divided than any time in my lifetime. Pretty close matchup. And we find out. Push comes to shove. Tomorrow, we find out. Polls are right, or where we're at. Folks, should be an interesting day in the markets. We got our man, Larry Pesavento. He's coming up live next with Trade What You See, live programming all day at TFNN, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.